What if, at this very moment, a 70-kilogram wolf were sitting in your living room? It's an absurd imagination, but this is something that actually happened. In the 1990s, a young philosophy professor in Alabama, USA, returned home holding a 6-week-old wolf pup in his arms. Its name was Brenin. It is a name that means king in Welsh. This philosopher's name is Mark Rowlands. Later, he recorded his 11 years with this wolf in a book, and that book became a question that shook the entire history of philosophy, rather than a simple animal essay. Rowlands brought Brenin into the university classroom. If the wolf grew bored, he stopped the lecture. The students, who were discussing Plato, fell silent as they looked at the massive beast curled up beside the platform. In that silence, Rowlands realized, I have searched for truth in books all my life. But truth was sitting right beside me, looking at me. Today, through the story of a philosopher and a wolf, I want to talk about the things we have lost in the name of civilization. The most sophisticated scam created by humans. We will look into what that is from now on. Rowlands calls humans apes. It might sound a bit unpleasant, but this is not an insult. It is an accurate biological description. And he asks this: why did the ape's brain grow so large? Many people answer, for survival. To make tools, build fires, and develop language. However, evolutionary biologists have reached a different conclusion. The real reason the human brain became massive is precisely to deceive others and, at the same time, avoid being deceived. This is called the Machiavellian Intelligence Hypothesis. Think about it. From the moment we open our eyes every morning, we begin calculating. What kind of facial expression should I make toward my boss today? If I show kindness to this person, what kind of benefit will I return later? What we call friendship, or love, has a constant calculation of profit and loss flowing deep beneath it. Human sociality might be the most sophisticated scam perfected over millions of years. On the other hand, look at Brenin. A wolf does not calculate. A wolf does not pretend to love you just because you feed it. It does not worship you by pretending to obey out of fear. There is no hypocrisy in the world of the wolf. If they have power, they speak with power. If they love, they express it with their entire body. The hierarchy of a wolf pack may look cruel, but at the same time, it is completely honest. Rowlands writes like this: humans form relationships for profit, but wolves exist for the relationship itself. Behind the brilliance of the civilization we have built, thousands of years of sophisticated deception are piled layer upon layer. And because we have lived inside that deception for too long, we no longer even realize that it is a deception. Now, let us move into a more painful question. Are you happy right now? Most people hesitate for a moment. Once this work is done, once this loan is paid off, once the child grows a bit more, our happiness is always conditional. It is always hanging somewhere in the future. To humans, time is an arrow flying constantly from the past to the future. And because we are riding on top of that arrow, we can never set foot on this very moment. Rowlands ran with Brenin every morning. Through the forest paths of Alabama, the fields of France, and the coasts of Ireland. Even while running through the same forest every day, Brenin always ran as if it were the first time. Sniffing the wind with its nose, hearing the rustle of fallen leaves with its ears, and kicking off the earth with all its muscles. To a wolf, time is not an arrow. The wolf's time is a circle that repeats, returns, and begins yet again. Not the forest of tomorrow, but only this earth beneath the feet right now is everything. Brenin lived every moment as the first and the last. He did not run remembering yesterday's forest, nor did he run anticipating tomorrow's forest. There was only the forest of this moment, right now. The philosopher Heidegger said that humans are beings toward death, that we are always anxious because we know our own finiteness. But Rowlands learned something else from Brenin, that knowing finiteness is not the problem, but wasting that finiteness on future worries is the problem. Happiness is not something you hunt down from the future. Happiness is living out this very moment with your entire body, like a wolf. Brenin grew old. The wolf that once contained 70 kilograms of wilderness in its entire body now struggled even to stand up. Rowlands lay down beside him every day and spent the nights together. Tears flowed from the philosopher's eyes. It was not a simple sadness. At that moment, Rowlands felt that Brenin was teaching him one last thing. Brenin was not afraid. Even with death before him, he was still inside this very moment. Feeling warmth from his master's hand and hearing the sound of the wind, he lived in the present until his last breath. He did not regret the running days of the past, nor did he fear the coming annihilation. That was what Rowlands had searched for in books all his life, the very image of complete existence. At this very moment, Nietzsche's idea of eternal return comes to my mind. Nietzsche asked, what if your life were repeated infinitely, exactly as it is right now? Could you willingly say that you would live that life again? This is not a question of terror. This is a question of awakening. It is asking how completely you are living this very moment. Brenin already knew it. Even while running through the same forest every day, he lived so completely each time that it would be fine to repeat that run eternally. He did not read philosophy books, but he lived embodying with his entire body the realm that Nietzsche tried to reach with his lifelong thought. The life of the wolf was a life that had no reason to fear eternal return. Humans live longer than wolves. But are we really living more completely than the wolf? Is the future happiness you are chasing today a life that you can say is fine to repeat eternally? Or are you still mortgaging today for the tomorrow that has not yet arrived? Brenin's life has ended, but those moments he ran every morning are eternal because they were complete. To us living inside the clever prison called civilization, this wolf is saying this one last thing. Take off the mask, stop calculating, and live out this forest right now, this earth beneath your feet right now, with your entire body. So much so that there would be no regret even if this moment were repeated eternally. This has been the story of the philosopher and the wolf.